Hi guys, I hope you are doing well. Today I'm going to talk about the AWS Route 53 resolver, and to illustrate that I will try to implement this architecture that you see in front of you. So to demonstrate what is the AWS Route 53 resolver, I will try to make a VPN connection between two AWS accounts. The second account, which will be like my corporate data center, and the first one will be my first AWS account. Then I will try to create some VMs within my VPC, right? And this VPC I will associate it with a private hosted zone that will be created in the Amazon Route 53. Then I will create a DNS server and an Active Directory and then an ADFS server within my second account. Then I will create a VPN connection between these two accounts. So this resource that will be within this account will be reachable or will reach to the other AWS resources that are in the second account. Then I will try to ping those instances that are within the second account, right, using their domain name. And to reach this instance using their domain, we will use the outbound endpoint, and to allow this resource to reach this resource using their DNS name, we will use the inbound endpoint. Another thing here is that I will show you how you can integrate ADFS server with AWS single sign-on. So you will allow your corporate data center user to connect your AWS resource via the Active Directory that will contain your users that already you have created. And then also I will show you how you can connect your ADFS server with Office 365, so your user from your corporate data center will use their credentials that are stored in the Active Directory, and then they will be able to sign in to the Office 365. So stay with me, I will implement all of that and I will show you, I will walk you through each step and explain everything. Okay, so now let's go to the hands-on. So for that I will go to my account. This will be my first account, right? And then this one will be my second account. So in the first account I will work on North Virginia region. And why that? Because on my North Virginia I have already an AWS organization that I have already created. That's why I decided to work in this region, because as you know that single sign-on work with AWS organization, and to enable AWS single sign-on you must have an AWS organization within that region. And once you enable an AWS organization within AWS region, you are not allowed to enable it in another region until you delete it from the first region and then create it in the other region. So first thing I'm going to do is to go to my first account here, right, and then go to the VPC that we will use to create our resource within it. And for this region I will choose as a CIDR block for my VPC as 12.10.0.0/16, and for the other account I will use 10.10.0.0/16. You can choose any CIDR you want, right? So what matters is the logic that's going behind the scene for this DNS queries that flow over across my VPN connection. So let me go to my VPC And as you can see here that I have already a VPC that is have access CIDR block 12.10.10.0.0/16, and then I have already created subnets. I have created only one subnet, but you can choose as much subnet you want, but the preferred way is to choose 2 subnets in each availability zone, and each availability zone have one public subnet and private subnet. Then I have created the row tables. I have one row table here that I have associated with this subnet and the internet gateway. So make sure that this subnet have the property of enable or assign, or the property of enable a public address. It's enabled. So let me go to the subnet settings and go to the enable auto assign public IP address is enabled, and you can save that and come back. And next step I will do now is I will go to my Route53, and then I will attach or I will associate my already created private hosted zone with this VPC. So if, for example, if any resource here try to ping or reach to this hosted zone, right, it will be reachable. If you do not attach it to this VPC, then when any instance try to ping some resource that have this DNS name, it will not be reachable. So let me come back here and then go to hosted zones, and then choose this hosted zone and click on edit hosted zone, and to scroll down here, and then you can see here the VPCs to associate with the hosted zone. So I will add a VPC, and I will choose North Virginia, so North Virginia US East 1, and then choose this VPC, and then save the changes. Then I will go and then create the first resource here. I will create an EC2 instance. So it does not matter what operation system that we will use in that instance. What this instance is only to show you or to test whether if the connection between our 2 accounts is established. So first thing I'm going to do is launch an instance within that VPC. So I launch an instance, we'll scroll down, give it a name, my test instance, scroll down, choose the Amazon Linux, and then for instance type we will keep it as a default, and then I will create a new key pair, and they will call it test key. They will choose the pimp extension. So once I create, it will be uploaded here. No, yeah, sorry, uploaded. And then for the network, I will choose my already created VPC, and for subnet it's public subnet, and as you can see, auto assign public group, public IP, sorry, is enabled. And then I will create a new instance. I will call it test instance security group, and then for the description I will copy it, paste that. I will scroll down, and then I will enable SSH, and then I will enable the ping source everywhere. Scroll down, make sure that everything is setting properly, then I will launch that instance. I think I have done something wrong here. We scroll down in the security group. We'll create a new one, and then yeah, custom is EM protocol, sorry, all ECMP, and then scroll down and then launch the instance. So in the same time this instance is be launched, let me go to the other account and try to create a VPC. And in this account it will show what are the steps that you have to follow to create your VPC, your subnet, your route table, your internet gateway, and how you associate your subnet with your route table so you can forward traffic to the internet and all of that. So first thing, I'm going to my VPC and create a VPC. Make sure that you are in the Paris region, and then I will scroll down and call it Paris VPC. I will scroll down, and then for the IP address I will choose 10.10.0.0/16. I will keep the other things as default, and I will create my VPC. For subnets, I will choose to create only one subnet. You can choose any number of subnets you create, and as I said before, that it's better to create two subnets in each availability zone, and each availability zone have one public subnet and a private subnet. So in the here in the VPC ID, we choose the VPC that we have created, and we scroll down and we provide the name to the subnet. I will call it Paris public subnet, and they will choose the first availability zone, and then I will provide it 10.1.0/24. Scroll down and create my subnet. I will select subnet and then go to the edit subnet settings. So this subnet to allow this subnet to provide a public IP address to our instance, we have to enable this property. Otherwise it will not assign a public IP address to that instance. I will scroll down and I will create an internet gateway. I will create a new one. I will call it Paris IGW, means internet gateway. We'll scroll down and create that internet gateway. Then I will attach it to my created VPC. Then I will go to the route table and then create a route table. I will call it Paris public route table. For VPC, I will choose my Paris VPC and then create a table. So once you create a table, you scroll down, and then in the subnet associations, you edit subnet associations, and then you choose your created subnet. You save associations, and then you have to edit something else. So to allow this subnet to forward traffic to the outside, you have to edit the routes. In the routes, you come here and then you edit. This route means the default means the internet, and any traffic that goes to internet forwarded to internet gateway. And then here this option shows us the internet gateway that we have created earlier, and then we save the changes. Here in this account we will launch two instances. One instance will be as our customer gateway, and we will install on it OpenSwan, and the other one is for testing the ping and the SSH. We just will keep it as a simple, and we try to test only the ping. We scroll down or come back to our instance EC2 management console and go to instances, and then try to launch instances. I will scroll down here, and then I will scroll down here and then choose two instances. I will scroll up and then edit the network settings. By default it checks the default VPC, but I want to use my own VPC. For that I will choose my VPC and my own subnet. And as you can see here, auto assign public IP, it's enabled. If for example we have not enabled this property on the Paris public subnet properties, right, this one will be disabled. So it's enabled. We scroll down and call it Paris SG security group, and then for the description I will copy and paste that and scroll down and add another security group, and this one I will allow all ECM. This protocol for the ping, and the source it's anywhere, and then I will scroll down and then launch an instance. For the key pair, sorry, I will choose the key pair that you have already downloaded here. Scroll down and then this key or Paris key. I will try to, I think that I have already this key. I will scroll down and then I think I have already this key. So if I can come here and then search for that, yes, I have already that key here. So let me progress and then launch an instance. So my instances will be launched. We'll wait a little bit until it will be in the running state, and then let me come here and name this one as OpenSwan, and other one as test. So this one will install on it the OpenSwan software, and this one is only for testing. So in the OpenSwan I will come here and check its public IP address, right? So I will copy this public IP address. This public address, it is the public IP address of our OpenSwan. This OpenSwan is it is our customer gateway. So I will copy it and come back to my other account and then go to the VPC, and then in that VPC I will scroll down and go to the VPN section and then click on customer gateway. I will create a new customer gateway. I will call it my customer gateway. We scroll down and then paste the IP address. I will keep the other things as default and then create the customer gateway. So the next step is to create the virtual private gateway. So I will come back here and then click on create a virtual private gateway. I will scroll down and then create virtual private gateway. So once it's created, the next step is to attach it. We will attach it. We'll click on it and then click on action and then attach to VPC and then choose our VPC. Now we will go to the next step, that is create site-to-site VPN connection. And in this section we will use both customer gateway and virtual private gateway, and both the IP address of our first VPC that is reside within our first account and the second VPC that reside in the second account. So I will click on create VPN connection. I will call it my VPN as a simple. I will scroll down and then target gateway. I will choose my virtual gateway. for my customer gateway as well. And for routing option, I will choose static. Here I will enter both the IP address of our CIDR block. The one is 10.10/16 and the other one is 15. Let me make sure it sees 15. So it is 15.10.0.0/16, and here it is the local IP network, and so this is range on the customer gateway side that is allowed communication over. So this one is the VPC that reside behind our customer gateway. It is 10.10.0.0/16, and the remote one is the range on the AWS side, and means this IP CIDR block. It is 15.10.0.0/16. I will scroll down and then create our VPN connection. So once it's created, it is independent state. I will choose it and then download the configuration. And before downloading the configuration, I will come back to my instance, open source instance, and then copy this public IP address and try to make an SSH to it to install our open source software. So for that, let me make an EC2 SSH. Yes, we'll clear that. We'll check whether I am connected to the internet or not. Yes, I am connected, and then I will switch to be the root, and then I will install install open source software. Yes, so it is installed. Now I will download that configuration. So for the vendor, I will choose open source as it's appear here. Scroll down and then download that configuration. So let me open that configuration, and then I will scroll down here. So here it gives you the steps that you will follow to apply this configuration file on your open source software. So first thing we are going to do is go to this file and then add this line of code. So let me come back here and then type nano etc systemctl.conf config file, and then I will scroll down and paste that lines. And this net.ip4.ip4 it's equal 1. This one make our instance behave as a router, because as we know in routers, router have, for example, have two network interface. So once one interface receive a packets, then that network interface forward that packets to the other network interface, and that network interface will deliver that package to the network that belong to. So I will let me edit that and then save it. Then to apply that changes, we have to run this command. Let me come back here, and then next step is to copy this one or to edit this one. But before editing, we have to remove this line, otherwise it will not work for us. So we remove this line, and here For the left subnet is the local network behind your OpenSwan and means this IP address that we have 10.10.0.0/16, and the remote network is the remote network on the other side of your VPN, means this VPC cider block IP address. So it is 15.10.0.0/16, and then these lines you have to add them under this directory. So for that you have to type nano and paste that directory, and then copy these lines and paste them here. And once we paste them, we'll scroll down and add this line to this file again. So for that, let me copy it and then come here and paste it here. Sorry. So let me copy this and paste it here, and then paste this line of code here. I will save the changes and come back here and see if we follow the steps as they asked us. And then once we configure that, we have to start the OpenSwan service. So let me type systemctl start OpenSwan type service OpenSwan start. Not OpenSwan, but it is IPsec, and then check the status, and as you can see, these files that we have configured here are shown here, and it is running successfully. So once this connection established, then the status of our VPN here must change to an active. Here they provide us with two tunnels, the first tunnel and the second tunnel, to make a high availability of our tunnels. But in this lab we will use only one tunnel. But in production environment you must have two tunnels for high availability. So I will update that, and channels details is still down. You have to wait a little bit until the status of the first channel become up. So in the meantime, I will go and launch another instance in my second account, and within that instance I will create, or I will launch a Windows server, and within that Windows server I will install our DNS, our Active Directory, and our ADFS, and our certificate authority as well. So let me launch an instance. I will scroll down, I will call it my Windows server. I will scroll down here and then choose the Windows distribution. I will scroll down, I will choose the configuration, it's Windows Server 2019 base. scroll down, and for the instance type I will use T2 X large, and then for the key pair I will choose the Paris key pair. We scroll down, and for the network I will choose my VPC, and automatically it will choose my subnet because I have already one subnet within that VPC. And then I will create a new security group, and this one I will call it Windows Server Security Group. Scroll down, and then I will add another security group, and I will allow the ping from everywhere. And another thing here I have to allow it is custom TCP and range, sorry, or there is DNS UDP anywhere, and you have to allow DNS TCP as well. And then for source type is everywhere. Then I will scroll down and launch the instance. I will wait my instance to be provisioned. Let me come back to my VPN, scroll down, you have to wait so it's take a little bit of time to establish. So I will pause the video until the status become active, then I will come back to you. Now as you can see that the status of the first channel is up. The second one, it will not be up because I have configured only one channel. As you can see here, this warning give you this: the VPN connection is not using both channels. This mode operation is not available as I said before, and we strongly recommend you configure your second channel. So I highly recommend you in the production environment you must to enable both of channels. So now our channel is up, and now I have to add another thing here. First thing, let me connect to my instance. So it's in North Virginia. So first thing I will open another tab in my Linux machine and change the directory where I will copy my key pair. So my key pair is already here. Copy and paste it, and then test key.pem, and then paste it here. I will save it and change the permission to it. Sorry, change its permissions, and then I will try now to connect to my instance. Sorry, let me refresh again. So let me copy its public IP address and then try to SSH to it. Paste that IP address and then choose my key pair, yes, and now I am connecting to it. So what I am willing to do now is try to ping from this instance to this instance and vice versa. But if I try to ping for the first time, it will not work, of course, because there are some settings I have to do before doing this. So it's still hanging here because I have to edit something else. And first thing I'm going to do is go to my first account, in my first account here, and then go to my VPC, and then edit route table. And in the route table, I have to show what is the path that my instance or my packet should to take to reach to the other instance side. If I do not provide that within my routes, then my subnet or my route table will not know anything about the other IP address that belong to this VPC. So for that I have to go to my route table and edit something. So you can either go and add that manually here, or you just go to the route propagation, then edit route propagation and enable that. And once you enable it, then another route will be added to your route table that will tell you that while you want to reach to resource that belong to this CIDR block, then go to the virtual private gateway. So once I will save it and come back to my route table, as you can see here, that it's provide me with another route. It's when you are trying to reach to this CIDR block, then go to the virtual private gateway. And another thing here, we have to make sure that our instance that it is in the other account in its security group, it's allow the ping. So we'll scroll down here. So it's allowing the ping. And for now, if I come back here to my instance here and then try to ping it this time, then the ping work properly. But here, if I come back here and try to ping to this instance, then the ping will not work. Sorry, ping 12.10.1.12 and try to ping it, and then the ping work. So if it does not work, you have to make sure of one thing, is you go to your VPC, then in that VPC you have to edit your route table and edit one property of your OpenSwan instance. So go to your route table and then go scroll down, edit route, and provide it here 15 the IP address or the IP address of our CIDR block within my VPC that is reside within the first account. And then here we should provide an instance and then choose my OpenSwan. I will save the changes. So if I come back to my instance here, and this time I will try to ping it, ping work. Let me come back here, and then another step you have to take is go to OpenSwan instance, choose OpenSwan, and then go to network, and then change source destination check-in and make sure that it's stopped, and then save the changes. So once all of this done, Now the connection will be established properly between our two instances. So now let me come back here and try to ping again. Now the ping work, and from the other side the ping work as well. And another thing here, if the ping does not work, I am just giving you some solution to troubleshoot your issues. If the ping does not work, or the connection, the VPN connection does not establish between your two instances that reside in different account within different region, is going to open one and then make sure that in your security group that it's allowed the ping as well. So now it is allowing the ping, and now I will come back to my Windows instance and try to connect it using the RDP. We'll scroll down, I will download the RDP session, and then in the password I will provide them with my Paris key pair, and then I will decrypt the password. They will provide me with the password. I will come back to the download part, and then here I will have my RDP session, and then I will try to connect to that. Here they will ask me for the password. I will copy it, come back and paste it here, and then the connection will be established with my Windows server. So first thing that we have to do is click to this icon and then go to the server manager. So in the server manager we will install some roles that will enable us to install our DNS server, our Active Directory, and our certificate authority, and our ADFS management server. So the difference between the Active Directory and the ADFS, that in last time or recent or Active Directory provide us with Kerberos tickets, and once, for example, we want to authenticate user using the Active Directory, it will provide us with all its properties, right? But for example, if we have three applications, first one, second one, and the third one, for example, the first one is asked only for his first name and last name, the other one only for his first name, and the third one only asking for his last name, then Kerberos does not know how to can filter that. It will provide all the application with his entire information, even if the application does not need all of that entire the information. So for that, the ADFS comes into play. So for example, it will ask Active Directory to provide each only with specific attributes. So in the Active Directory we call them attributes, but when we come to ADFS we call them claims. So claims is an attribute, for example, first name, last name, and the nickname, etc. And once our server manager created, I will go to my local server, and first thing I will change its name, because I don't like this name. I will change it. I will call it ADFS server. Click on OK. I will close that. Then I will restart it. So I will wait until it will be rebooted. Then I will try to connect it again. Then I will try to install the roles and the features that we will need to complete this lab. So let me come back here and then try to connect to it again. Provide it with password, and then as you can see that the name is changed. Click on yes. Then the next step is to install our Active Directory. So the first thing that we are going to install on our Windows server is the Active Directory, then the certificate authority, because I want to issue some certificate authority to sign some certificate for my ADFS server, so the connection will be using the HTTPS, a secure connection. And then we will install the ADFS and configure it. So don't worry, I will explain you every step, everything. Just stay focused and complete the lab until the end. So I will go to the manage, and then we'll add roles. And first thing I will choose is the Active Directory domain services. We click on next, and then click on install. And we will wait the installation until it finish. Then here will be a yellow triangle that will ask us to promote this server to a domain controller. Then I will show you the configuration of that. So once we install the Active Directory, then under the hood, the DNS server as well, it is installed, because once we will start to configure our Active Directory, it will ask us for our domain name that we will provide to this Active Directory. And under the hood, if there is no DNS server created in this server, then it will create that DNS server for us. So you can only install your DNS server without installing Active Directory and ADFS, because I am installing those tools because I want to show you how you can integrate ADFS server with AWS single sign-on, and how you can synchronize your on-premise users to the Active Directory using Azure AD Connect. Then how you can sign in your user on to your Office 365, right, from the user that reside within your Active Directory. So we'll close that, and when we click on this icon, it will ask us to promote this server to a domain controller. So we'll click on that and follow the step. So first thing is giving you these three options. The first one is add a domain controller to an existing domain. For example, if you want to create a high availability for your domain controller, then you have your domain, and then you create a new domain controller for an existing domain. The second one is that you have, for example, your first domain, right, x.com, and then you want to create another domain to establish a trust relationship between the two domains. For example, with another domain that is y.com, then you select the second option. And the last one is that this is your first time you will create your domain controller. So for me, I will select the last option. So I will provide it with my domain name, and I will show you later why I have chosen this name like that, like this. I will click on next. And then here I will provide them with the password. I will wait because I have a connection problem. Then we will enter a password. And then click OK. click on next, and it automatically will choose NetBIOS domain name for you. So keep that NetBIOS domain name and click on OK or click on next. And then keep them as default. This is the database where your user and your computer will be stored, your log files as well. And then keep everything as a default. Click on next, and then click on install. Now you click on install, and once the installation finish, then the system will reboot. So I will pause the video until the system reboots and come back to you again. So the system now is rebooted. Now I'll try to connect it to it again. Then come back here and check the password, sorry, and paste it here. As you can see now that the name of my server changed. This is the host name and this is my domain name. So we'll click on yes, and this will take some time. Let me wait for it, and let me take you back to this architecture and explain you what are the next steps that we are going to do. So the next step that I'm going to do is I will create a DNS zone right within this server, and within that I will create an alias or a DNS record for my test instance. And in the other side as well, I will go to my hosted zone and I will create a record for my test instance. Then I will try to ping to this instance, right, with its own record rather than its IP address, and vice versa. From this instance, test instance, I will ping to this instance using its DNS record rather than its IP4, right? And then we'll try to connect our AWS single sign-on with our ADFS server. So I will cover all of that, just stay with me. So I will come back here. So this one's still loading. And in the same time, let me come back here and try to open my Azure account. So once my Azure account will be opened, so this Active Directory, we will create within it the admin account that we will use it in our ADFS server, or sorry, in our AD-Sync server, to synchronize user to our Azure Active Directory. And that admin user will use it also to establish a trust relationship between ADFS server and Office 365. So let me go to users, scroll down, and then try to remove this user. Let me open the single sign-on service. And then go to users, and in user let me remove this user.